So, this hermeneutic is so weird, this type of interpretation, when you're reading a book of the Bible or something, you automatically think that the book is to you. And so, the first basic tenets of proper interpretation is you read it as it is. It's a letter first. So, if you read the epistles of Paul, he's writing, for example, to the First Corinthian or the church in Corinth. The next one would be to Ephesus. Another one would be to Colossae, right? We can go on and on and on, but those churches don't exist today. And those churches have a specific first century audience in mind that Paul knew. He actually preached to them. So when you start just thinking about all the things that go along with the context and the proper hermeneutic, you know, number one, Paul is not directly speaking to you about a specific problem you have. He's not talking to you about your specific enemies. He's not talking about the trials that you're going through at this specific time. He's talking to a first century audience that he knew. Paul doesn't know you. He's long gone and he's dead, right? So that's the first thing we have to understand when we're thinking about prophecy or anything. Paul is prophesying to them what would come to them, what they would see, what they already know. 1 Thessalonians and 2 Thessalonians. He said they knew a specific thing. It's not a riddle, okay? Too many people think there's riddles in there, and they need it to be a riddle because if it's not a riddle and they actually knew what Paul was talking about, then all of a sudden their whole eschatology gets blown out of the water. Like it doesn't even exist anymore. So yeah, that's exactly right. Read the scriptures as prophecies to the audience that it actually was to first. Then we see how it applies. If you don't have a proper interpretation, then you're not going to apply scripture properly, okay? So that's the basic fundamentals of hermeneutics. Then when we get to the book of Revelation, what do we have? John is saying that they have to obey his letter and to take heed, and that those who had wisdom, yes, those who had wisdom in the first century would know the number of the beast. It's a number of a man. And so he's telling them they would know. If you say as a futurist, it's impossible for the first century audience to know what John was talking about, then you are assuming that John is not giving them a revelation. He's not telling them what they need to know. Remember, it's a revelation. The whole book is a revelation. It's a revealing. It's not a riddle. It's not a puzzle. It's not something confusing to the first century audience. They knew it. And all the images in the book of Revelation are known by the first century audience because they were being preached to by the apostles. Not only that, but the apostles had the Old Testament as their first Bible. They're preaching from the Old Testament. The images, the symbolism is in the Old Testament. Revelation has over 613 references to Old Testament language. So if you do not understand the Old Testament, you're not going to know what the original audience, how they interpreted these passages in the book of Revelation. So number one, Revelation was written to a first century audience. It was to them. The judgments that were coming soon to them. Not soon to you, soon to them. So once you have a proper understanding of how hermeneutics work and how you interpret a letter to somebody else properly, I mean, this is just common sense, I would think. If you're reading a letter, somebody else's letter that you found on the floor, you don't start applying things to yourself. You got to know who it was written to, what's the context, what's the date of the letter, etc., right? And so don't get confused. If your eschatology does not line up with basic principles of interpretation, then you have to throw it out. You really do, and you got to reconsider and start looking at the Bible again as a foundation for your eschatology, not the Left Behind series.